used to think back then it was before Nam and after Nam. But boy, it's before the Purcell case and after.
Season 3 of True Detective takes place across 3 different time periods, moving forward concurrently.
You really can't point to any show on television that has an element like that.
We had to come up with a distinct but subtle look, color signifiers of what period we're in. In 1980, there's more browns and golds and rusts. And in 2015, it's very much like the world we live in now. It's very shiny and primary colors and clean lines.
When the boy died, a lot of the town dies with it, so things start to overgrow and fade. And now that we're moving into 90s, and then especially 2015, things get a little bit brighter.
There are subtle changes between 80 and 90. Appliances, exit signs. The Americans with Disabilities Act wasn't passed until 1990, so there wouldn't be ADA parking signs.
It's the things that people don't think about. It's things like lighting fixtures and signage, and that's what makes it real and makes it true.
The 80s stuff should be challenging, but in Arkansas, it's not. There's so many locations here that are time capsules, like the community center that we have. I love wood paneling, so like, it's crazy how much wood paneling they use. And it, it held up. Everywhere we go, it's still, holding up. It's a great base to build upon.
I used to be something of a mess. What about you? Your clip-on ties as crazy as you get?
As a costume designer, the most exciting part of this project has been finding the character across multiple decades. I decided early on that the best thing to do was to start with 1980, so that we could figure out who these people were when you very first meet them. For Wayne, 1980 is regimented and reserved.
He's a bachelor. He's not the best dressed guy. He's not going to be on any best dressed lists. And in 90, there's a bit of a shift in he obviously has love in his life. There's someone else buying his ties and his shirts, and so therefore he's a little more together.
Missing my old clip-ons.
You're not in elementary school anymore.
Amelia, between 80 and 90, she's quit her job as a teacher and become a more vibrant, artistic or creative expression of herself.
This is somebody that's at play with themselves and curious about her own identity and how that's shifting over time.
We piled on the jewelry, and she wears more colored shirts. There's a bit of a sense of androgyny that comes through as well. So it's like the balance of power has shifted.
I'm a writer, I can't help it.
For Roland, he's gone from being this scrappy detective to making lieutenant and starts wearing flamboyant Western shirts with his blazers.
He's a country boy at heart, That was intense, too, for 6.5 months, never wearing any other shoes but big old cowboy boots.
2015 was kind of its own set of challenges. For Wayne especially, that's really when he stopped shopping. His clothing kind of just becomes more timeless or classic. The same for Roland. Things got a little more dirty, a little more disheveled. They don't fit quite so well, but he's still the same character.
70-year-old black man running around with a badge and gun. Shouldn't miss that. Oh, I could use a laugh.
Aging these characters is a big orchestration. Mahershala Ali and Stephen Dorff, they really have a lot of prosthetics on their face, and it takes hours to put them in each day.
I mean, I've worn prosthetics before, but never like this.
We had to do a whole cast, and they had to build the prosthetic pieces to give me a little bit more weight, more creases and wrinkles. I had a heavy suit. It was challenging because you're starting 4 hours before anyone's at work.
The way these makeups are designed, they blend into their own skin in so many areas. It just gives a more realistic look to makeup. It's not someone covered in rubber. And same with Stephen. A lot of his own skin is exposed. His forehead is mostly exposed. He's got a bald cap and a wig, and Mahershala has a wig as well. The aging on Mahershala is a little bit different than Stephen's. Stephen's is a little bit craggier and smoky and, all that kind of thing. And his aging in his face is a little bit rougher. And Mahershala is smoother, and his forehead is a little bit more worried.
I've never seen old age makeup like this. Not just that it seems so lifelike, but that the actors could act through it.
Well, but less crazy than I thought. Don't get carried away.
Anytime I would have all that makeup on, I would kind of let everything go, and it allowed me to find where the voice was in 2015. which is naturally different from where it is in 90, and 90 is consciously different from where it was in 80.
The first time we see Wayne in the 80s, he's got post-traumatic stress, and he's pretty myopic in his worldview.
I don't read enough. I like Batman and Silver Surfer.
With that comes a kind of monotony in the voice.
I'm Wayne Hayes. This is Roland West.
He speaks about being raised on a farm. So I made a decision that he was going to be on the more countryside.
The sound is in the back of the throat here.
See on the news this morning about those missing kids?
As opposed to it being forward in the mouth here, here, where Roland's character lives.
You feel like maybe being a detective again?
When I jump to 90, I have to look at that there's been 10 years of experience with someone who is more worldly and more cultured than him.
Amelia comes along and she adds more notes. She adds more color. She opens up his mind.
How awful for you, these trials and vicissitudes. Look it up.
The hope of being able to solve this case in 90 makes everything just quicker and tighter.
We need to keep going. The missing print, the man with one eye, what Dan was saying.
Then as we get into 2015, which is really, really interesting because of the neurological issues, he's trying to put things together so there's this stop and go.
You got the case back in 80?
Yes. Big full moon that night. I remember the moon.
As you're older, you start getting dentures or teeth replaced, so it's more difficult to articulate yourself.
His vocal register was different. It just blew me away.
How much do I have to lose?
Everything. Same as everybody else.
It was such an ambitious project that I felt like everyone was there feeling like we had to leave it all on the table. Then that was the only way you were gonna be at peace about the experience, is if you gave everything you had to it, and everybody did that.
I just think there's a tremendous challenge for the actors to move between those worlds. And I'm grateful to everybody involved, from everyone on the crew in every single department. It was just a beautiful thing.